This is a tutorial on how I create multiple metahuman characters and import them into 5.7 using GASP. I had some difficulty figuring this stuff out. It took me a couple of weeks despite all the wonderful tutorials. So this is to help me not forget and maybe to help you. First, we're going to create a new project for each metahuman character. You don't need to have GASP. It's just going to be blank. Once you're in the project, we're going to go ahead and enable plugins and anything metahuman. I don't turn on the UAF support. That seems to break things downstream. I don't need the meta runtime. Once that's done, restart the editor. So now we're back in. We're going to go ahead and make a new folder. This folder is what we're going to export. Then I'm going to make a folder for metahuman data. This is just how I structure stuff. Inside here, I'm going to create a new metahuman. Open it up. Just going to do a preset for now. If you have any clothing assets, import them into this one. We'll use that to generate and bake this stuff. This will pop up in the bottom. Just hit enable missing. And we'll go ahead and save this and restart. Going to be assuming whatever metahuman clothing or material assets that you add are also going to be in your core project. Again, we're making individual blank projects, minimal as possible, and they're going to have only the things that apply to that particular model. The main project will have all those assets as well, so we're not going to have to worry about migrating those over. I unwore the default garments, so we've got more of the body. I'm going to go to assembly, and I'm going to change the root directory. BR characters, metahuman data. Download the source textures. Then create a full rig. And now we're just going to go ahead and under assembly, you have to click off it and then back on. We're going to make sure that, hey, this has been redirected. Stick with this. Assemble it. Now, even though we specified that the information for metadata human should be in here, some of it is, some of it's still over here, the metahuman thing. So what we're going to do is move this to here. We're going to open the character blueprint. Next, if we go to the viewport, you can see the hair's all jacked up. We're going to go to each of these room assets. We're going to change the LOD mode to manual, and then we're going to turn off RBF interpolation by disabling that setting for each LOD setting for each groom asset. And we're going to save this, rinse and repeat for the next one. Alright, that's done, but if we zoom in and out, we can see things are still wonky. So we're going to go to the LOD sync, and we're going to force the LOD to 0. This is going to be a player character, but if you want something higher, you can pick one. Sees, and also saves you some resources. We're just going to go with 0 for now. Save and compile. Now we're ready for export. We're just going to right click and migrate. Don't want to export anything in this. We want all of common to be in here, and I don't think it is yet. Double check. No. Guess it didn't move properly last time, so we're moving it again. Now the reason that I'm doing this way is there are core metahuman things that overwrite when you generate a new metahuman. And so GASP has Kellum asset. If you bring over your character, it breaks stuff. So this way we're keeping extra metahuman common stuff per character. May not be the most efficient way, but this is a way to get things working. Actually going to clean up the folder structure because I want characters and then the name of the character and metahuman stuff underside that. So, do that real quick. And after the reorg, we'll just open stuff up, recompile it, make sure things still look good. Cool. Now we're going to go back and do the export again. We're going to export our entire characters folder, bring it to our final project. You can see the stuff in characters, everything else not checked by default, which means all the stuff that we need for this player model is in this folder. We're going to select our destination project and select the content folder. And now we can close this project. We can keep it as an archive, so if we ever have to re-import this character, we now have this one export ready to go. I just keep it for now. This is another character I'm going to be importing into the same thing. This one has skeletal mesh for robes and shoes. There's a couple of things I want to do. First off, we can see that the hair of this guy is sticking out a little bit, and we can see his shoulders there. So what we're just going to do here is increase the location of this by 1 of the robes. And now that hides most of the hair stuff. We did the same settings for all the hair as well. As you can see, this is barely sticking out just a little bit. We'll add and that's going to be good enough for government work. And just like last time, we're only going to migrate care about. This particular one does have the GASP, so we're not going to worry about that. So I'm going to uncheck all the stuff that we don't care about. We're going to open our actual project now, which should have both imports in them. And the new project, I re-enabled the MetaHuman settings and relaunched. This is a new project, so we're just going to test it. And in the game animation widget, we're going to select the mover character so we get the new slide feature. And we're going to test slide, and we're going to test the transversal tools. They're working. In the content browser, we're going to check characters, and we're going to see that we have this. Got all of our stuff here. Open this up, and you can see that we're missing textures, but that's because we haven't import fab stuff yet. Yeah. I repointed the missing meshes over to the ones that I just imported. Import the fab stuff before you do the importation of this. Save that, and we'll check our second one. You can see they're looking good. The instructions inside adding a metahuman to GASP is a little bit out of date, but we're going to kind of baseline off of that. This is the new process, at least as far as I've figured out. We're going to navigate to the metahuman Kellen folder, and we're going to duplicate this twice and move these to the appropriate folders. So we're going to open up player, and our first step is going to be to open up both of our blueprints. So we're going to copy all of these. We're going to delete all of these over here. And paste. Now close out of this first one. Now the official instructions tell us to use an animation blueprint and use the retargeted animation. Recompile, and then we're going to go to the construction script. This is where everything's breaking. We're going to break this for now, move this out of the way. We're going to save it for later and in case we need it. So now we're going to set leader pose component to the body. That into there. Compile that, and now we can see, hey, this must have a connection. So we're going to pull the face in. That goes away. For the live retargeter setup, we're going to insert a body reference here and here. And for these 4 nodes here as well. And this is our hair setup. We're gonna put face as well. Cool. Done with the construction script for now. And our compile has worked. We're gonna go get our blueprint name, player, and copy that. Then we're gonna go to widgets, game animation widget, and we're gonna edit this. Inside our graph, visual overrides list. We have 6 arrays, we're gonna add 2. And input both of our character blueprint names. Don't forget to compile it up here and save it. And now we're going to open up our sandbox character blueprint class. We're going to do mover. And we're going to look for variables, targetable actors. Nope, that's not it. Now we're going to go to our retargeted characters and our generic retarget. We're going to add a retargeter map, and we're going to add 2 values. Each value is going to correspond to the blueprint, and then we're going to use the RTG, UEFM, Metahuman, NRW value for both. And on the body, we have our generic retargeter animation, and we're going to add a tag. The tag is just going to be the name of the blueprint. Save and compile. And next we need to go back to our blueprints for GASP and open up our sandbox. And we're looking for visual overrides. Open that function here and look at the variables. Don't need to worry about this. We do need to worry about this. So we're going to add 2. 1 for each of the blueprints that we're using. And now if we test this out, and we make sure we're at the mover, and we're going to select our player. Slide works. Jump works. Transversal works. And so does climbing. Next, I'm going to recreate those steps with the second character, but this one has a couple extra steps, so I'll cover that. So now for this one, we have 2 leader pose body components. The body's plugged into the both, and then we have our meshes plugged into that. In our second blueprint, if we go to the viewport, we can see we've got the generic retarget here. We have the tag on the body with the name of the blueprint. If we go to blueprints, retargeted characters, generic retarget, we can see in our retargeter map, we have our blueprint set here to our retarget to Metahuman. If we go down to widgets and our game animation widget and go to our graph, for our override list, we have our blueprint there. And now we have our second character. Now we have 2 metadata characters, and none of it overrode our initial kellum, because each of the metadata core things is in its own location. Hope this helps.